Welcome to Season 2 of The Biz Show, sponsored by Invest Choir. And now, your hosts, Barry and Lisa.
Good morning, Barry. Best pitch.
Good morning, Lisa. It's great to have you back.
I'm sorry. I know I've missed the past 2 episodes and I've missed all of you. And Barry, it's been difficult for me to get my schedule together and have our schedules coincide, I should say.
Yeah, those happen from time to time, and it is. I mean, you travel a lot and stuff like that, so sometimes it just doesn't work out. But I'm so glad to have you back. It's so good when we're together. The energy between us. I feel like when I do the podcast by myself, it's just boring and it's dry, and people are like, "Oh, just gag me with a stick."
Well, that's just like anything that you do. It's always better to have a team, right? You can't climb to the top alone. So thank you for acknowledging my participation and how you value it.
I acknowledge you as a good, dear friend and just an all-around good person, and I love being around you.
Thank you. I missed you too.
And you're very smart.
Thank you.
So listen, this podcast, right? This is podcast episode or season 2, episode 25, right?
So we're gonna start a new season soon, right?
Yeah, after episode 30, we'll jump into season 3.
I'm excited. Wow, this is gonna be our 3rd season. We've been a year and some months at it.
And we keep asking our listeners, and small little pieces are trickling in. But if you have topics you want Lisa and I to go over
Dissect
and talk about, please email them to us at investchoir.com or go onto the Biz Show Facebook group and drop a message in there. We would love to hear your comments, and we would love to explore things that you're interested in finding out about, listening to.
Yes, I know. There's so many things that we face as business owners that we'd love to hear from you so that we could try to help you out and give you some suggestions on a podcast.
Yes.
We'll dissect it, analyze it, and help you resolve your issue or overcome the obstacle at the minimum, hopefully.
Right, exactly. Well, this is an interesting one today, right? We're talking about your customers, right? And perhaps identifying your top 5 and maybe your bottom 5 customers, and how to figure out who they are and what to do with them once you've done that.
Right. I mean, the top 5 is crucial because those are the clients that will bring you future business and maybe give you a lot of referrals, right?
The top 5, yeah, and the bottom 5 are just the ones that drag you down, waste your time, waste your money, and just make you mad at the end of the day, right?
I know, and you never know maybe until you're like knee deep into the business relationship, with that client or customer, whether or not they're going to be at the bottom or the top. So, you try to give it your all with every customer or client if you are a successful business owner, but sometimes you don't realize who you're working with until you're way down the road. So exactly. I love hearing stories about it because we all have been there as a business owner. We've all been there with our clients, and where we just want to kind of like fire them or quit the job.
Well, every customer starts out as a good customer, right? And then eventually they evolve either up or down.
Right.
So, and I got a few stories to tell of past experiences and stuff like that as well that are interesting. But, not all customers are good customers, right?
Right.
There are some customers who just really are the cream of the crop, man. And that's what we want to talk about those, but we also want to talk about the ones that you probably need to identify. And perhaps they might not be the customer for you for a couple different reasons. And we'll kind of go over what those things are, right?
Yeah, some of the obvious reasons that you could help you identify who your top 5 customers are or are on the top tier level are pretty straightforward, right? They make sense.
They are straightforward. And let's start with the top 5 customers first, right? And I shouldn't say top 5, but I should say the top tier customers.
Top tier makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So
hopefully there's more than 5.
Well,
hopefully there's
hopefully
500 of them.
Yeah,
That's, yeah. So who are they, Barry? Those are the ones that bring you the money. Show me the money, honey.
they are. They're right.
Yeah.
They spend the most money with you, right? They're
Yes,
also very loyal and they're a repeat business customer, right? They
exactly.
regularly use your product or services, maybe on a daily, weekly basis.
This is your A list. These are your A list clients because
Right.
they're come back for more business and they're repeat, like Barry said,
Yeah.
they're like advertising your branding, right? They're out
The
talking about your business, your service.
referrals and brand. Yeah, yeah. They're right there and they're really helping you promote your business and bringing you new business.
Exactly. Those are the type of customers and clients that we want to expand on and treat really well and maybe give them some bonuses or discounts or promotional savings if, the more customers they bring to you.
Yeah, that's a excellent idea, right? You know,
Yeah.
and also you want to find a customer who's a good fit for you, right? Strategic fit in the sense that you have a product or you have a service that you provide, and if they are maybe just on the outskirts of that, they're just on the peripheral, you almost fit, but they don't quite fit. You probably should analyze that.
Yes. So
So,
just like a relationship, if you guys make a good pair and a good fit, then that's going to align well and business going forward will be easy. But if
right.
it's not a good fit, you're going to have, complaints or having to provide refunds, or you're going to have to spend more money just to service that client, and then you're making less of a profit. And those are the things that we want you to be able to analyze and recognize. So
Right.
you like maybe weed out those customers and pay more attention to the ones that you don't have to expend all that energy and money on.
The path of least resistance, right?
Yes.
And just because a customer, you make a lot of money off that customer, doesn't necessarily mean they're a good customer.
Right.
Right. You got to take all these factors into consideration. And then Lisa had already alluded to earlier. So, okay, um, what do you do with them, right? Well, you can provide rewards for them, right?
Yeah.
Maybe discounts or stuff like that. But let's talk about first, how do you identify them? How do you know who they are, right?
Well,
What
you were just
are
talking about money. So you would pull up your gross sales by
Yeah, pull
per
up your sales
client.
for the last year.
Hmm.
And here's the story I want to interject because, and I've mentioned this before, but when I was at GE Capital, um, and I stepped in as vice president there, first, I stepped into a division that had 3 employees. And by the time I left, it had 127 employees. So I grew
Right.
it really big, right? But they were losing money left and right, left and right. Their biggest customer was Xerox. They had 3 employees servicing that Clorox account, and they were charging that Clorox $5,000 a month.
Yeah.
And each of those employees were making $4,500 a month. So, they were spending $14,000 to service a $5,000 a month to service a
Yeah.
$5,000. So I analyzed that right away. I went in, I sat down, I renegotiated the contract with Xerox, and they knew that they were really getting a super, super, super good deal. And I negotiated it for $22,000 a month,
Oh,
from
wow.
5,000 to 22, and no, now we're making money, right? Now we're making $7,000 a month.
Great. That's excellent.
So, and so what I would do, I would always run a P&L on our customers, right? Every single customer I get, I start a P&L and I run a P&L on this, that's this. That way I know each project, each customer, what it's making. That's just
For
one
you?
one
Yeah.
facet. That's just one facet, right? The revenue. But also, you know, tracking that employee or tracking that customer of how many times they purchase from you, how many referrals they might bring you, track all that stuff, right?
Well, I
And
think it's interesting to track that not only for the to see what your volume and your monetary gain is, but also to maybe think outside the box. You're like, okay, this customer uses this product or this service from me, how could I help their business better or help them in their life or whatever their, their needs are, and maybe offer them something that they didn't even ask for, which will make the relationship between you and them even stronger because you might be thinking of another way to service them, right? So when you're
Right.
analyzing who's bringing you the most business, maybe you could think about how you can improve your relationship with them even more by providing a different service for them or another service for them, right? It's like
Well,
when
yeah.
I go to get my nails done at the salon, they always want to ask me for a pedicure. They say, "Oh, Lisa, would you like a pedicure as well as your nails done?" So you're always offering another service, right? Because they know that you're a repeat client.
Yeah, the upsell piece of it for sure. And not
Yeah.
only that, but as you said, thinking outside the box, perhaps there's a similar service to what you're already offering that you're not offering that you might be able to retool something and then offer that service. And then there's more revenue for you right there.
Because those are the easy customers to sell to because they already love you.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly. So, something for me that I've always done, and I mention this again many times, but I like I don't consider myself a salesperson. I'm not a salesperson, but I am a relationship type person, right? I love building a rapport and a relationship with the customers. They almost become friends in a sense,
Yes.
right? And so you want to deepen that relationship and stuff like that. How I do some of that in the past is, I would meet with them on a regular basis, right? Whether it's weekly or monthly or quarterly, I would actually go into their office and sit down with them in their office and have a face-to-face conversation with them. And I think that's something that's missing in today's environment, right? Everybody just wants to
Absolutely.
text,
Yeah.
and so I think that's something we're going to see wind down, and I'm concerned about that.
Yeah. Well, so many things are being shot through our emails too because people do not pick up the phone and call you. And so, our emails are getting inundated with junk. And we'd rather, I mean, it's just so much more effective to actually have a human conversation with people. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I agree with you.
And
Yeah.
I not just customers, but with your vendors and your partners and stuff like that too, right? It's always
Yes.
best. I mean, even if you have to do it via Zoom, so what? I mean, at least you're seeing each other, you're interacting face to face. I mean, in person is much better for sure.
Right. Definitely.
So,
So not only do you want to track the numbers of your top tier clients that come back for, repeat businesses and services, but also the clients that bring you referrals. So referral tracking.
right, right, right. You know, some people bring a lot of traffic to you, and others, don't. and
Exactly.
and knowing which ones do also can allow you to build that rapport with them, right? Those are the ones you probably want to spend a little bit more time with. Get them to understand your business. They almost become an extension of your sales team.
Exactly. And you definitely want to reward the people that are bringing the referrals in, like I mentioned earlier.
Well, yes, I mean, nobody's going to do anything for free, or they might do it once or twice, and if you take advantage of it, eventually they're going to recognize it, know it, and they're going to back off.
Yeah, exactly. Or they may not expect anything for the referral, but when you do, it just motivates them to keep doing it.
Well, yeah, sometimes some people just want to do a good deed, and that's great, but you also need to be appreciative of that. And maybe, rewarding them isn't necessarily a money type of a um, reward for them. Maybe there's other types of rewards you can give them that are not monetary.
Like what? Let's get creative.
Well, you see on some websites and stuff like that, oh, become a gold member, oh, become a platinum member, and those members get extra perks or whatever the case might be. They're not necessarily monetary,
Okay,
right? But they get a little bit more than the average Joe would get.
I gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah, there's all these different platinum, silver, gold levels.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so, let's face it, if we have a website and we've got, the basic, medium, and high level um, tiers for customers, how much money does it cost you to move a customer from the basic to the medium tier? Nothing, right? They're going to use
Right.
the site anyway. Okay, they might get an extra perk or extra service, but you're giving that to others anyway. So does it really count as it might, but it might not too. So things to analyze and things just to make people think.
True. That's a good point.
So so that's really about your good customers, right? Your top tier customers, how they're really helping you grow your business, right? They almost become in a partner with you to help you grow your business.
Don't be afraid to ask for a referral. Well, we mentioned that, but a testimonial so that you can post that on your website or, share that with new clients that want to check your references or, maybe you have a Google business page and you ask your client to put a testimonial on your Google business page. So definitely take advantage of the people that love you and have them, share it with the world and tell them that you want to help, build your online presence.
Right. Let's face it, you can't please all the people all the time, but you take care of the ones that you do please. And
Absolutely.
all
So what
right.
makes a bad customer, Barry?
I know
Oh
we laugh.
man, let
We
me tell
laugh.
you something. The ones
Yeah.
that yell at you. I've been yelled at many times and I just I'm like, wow. And you
I've
can't, respond back the way they are talking because you have to maintain a level of professionalism. So you really are biting your tongue, literally biting your tongue.
I've been on calls with you and a customer started yelling and then you politely said, "If you're going to continue talking like this, I'm just going to hang up."
Yes.
I don't appreciate being talked like this. We can handle this like two human beings, but if you want to yell, then I'm out. And
Yeah.
they calmed right down. They
Yes.
realized that okay, I'm being a little too emotional, and they calmed down.
Yeah. And that's really what it is when you're doing business and money is involved, people get very triggered and emotional. So I can understand that, but it makes it difficult to provide that customer your best services because you're always feeling like, you know, they're being negative about it or they're attacking you or they're not allowing you to do your job,
Yeah,
basically.
exactly. So so let's see. Let's kind of go down the list, right?
Yeah,
Who
let's
are bad
dive in.
customers? Customers that either don't pay you or they don't pay on time, right?
Or they're always haggling about what you're charging them and finding a reason why they shouldn't owe you the money. They're making up excuses.
If you have a set rate and you charge that set rate, and if they want to haggle about it, that's an issue,
Yeah,
right? And the thing is this immediately identifies a customer you are never going to please. They're always going to want to get a lot more out of you than what you're willing to give them for
right.
less, right?
And
So
so
go ahead. What's the next?
So if they're high maintenance, but they want you to spend so much time with them, I have this saying, I'm like, this client thinks they are my only customer. I say that a lot when it's like they require so much high maintenance and so much of my time that it becomes almost impossible to do anything else in my 8-hour day because they're calling you repeatedly or they're complaining about something repeatedly or they're coming into your business repeatedly and you can't get any of the work done.
Right, exactly. And that happens all the time. We all have those, right?
Exactly.
So they need constant hand holding. And I've had customers come, hey, what do you think about this? Like, I don't know because I'm not involved in that.
I had a customer drive around, 'cause this is back in the day when I was early in my real estate career, and you drove your clients in the car, and so I picked up this really polite uh, gentleman, he was meek and quiet and seemed very gentle. And so I would drive him to houses, we'd go look at them, we'd write offers, we would get the offer accepted, and he would be like, well, I don't think that's the house for me. Let's withdraw the offer. Then I would take him out again and we would look at another house and we write another offer. And then he did the same thing. Well, the rule of thumb, three strikes, you're out. So I gave him a third try and I said, look, Harry, I think was his name. I said, Harry, are you seriously wanting to buy a house because the first two times we found you a beautiful property, we got your offer accepted, and you backed out. Are you a serious buyer or not? He said, yes, Lisa, I'm a serious buyer. Well, after the third time that he did that, I had to fire him. I said, I am ruining my reputation with the realtors in Brentwood because I'm writing these offers and I'm canceling them, which is such a waste of everyone's time, especially when they're trying to, choose which offer to go with back in that market that day. There were multiple offers and I would get mine picked and then they would have to start all over again and, go to the next buyer. So it kind of like flawed my reputation for a really short period of time. But I had to fire him. Come to find out, he just wanted to spend time with me. I was like, I guess I don't even know to this day if he bought a house. I don't know what happened to him, but I mean, I like to have conversations in the car, which make the relationship, going into like a trusting friendship, if you will, and provide the best services I can. So, I mean, maybe he took it the wrong way or whatever, but it was just a waste of my time, gas, money, and a little bit of my reputation temporarily.
That's how we met, right? You were our real estate agent, and Tammy and I, we met with you, and we hopped in the car and we drove around looking at homes. Sometimes we would meet you there, sometimes we drove together.
Yeah, we
And
had fun
and
looking
look,
at properties.
now we've
Yeah,
known each other for, gosh, 20 some odd years.
decades.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you actually
Wow.
bought a house
Yes, we did.
at Craig Court. I think I remember the address,
Yeah,
769
it's
Craig.
Craig Court, 755 Craig Court. Yeah. Okay.
Gosh, that was a
I
great
don't live
home.
there anymore, people. So
No, do not knock on that door.
yes. So yeah, the next would be constant complaining, right? They're always complaining about this. They have high demands, but you can just never really satisfy
Yeah,
them.
never satisfied. And that's such a key point.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then customers that really don't align with your business, right? So perhaps they want you to do a side project that's got really nothing to do with the type of business that you do. And so that takes your time away from your business to focus on something that's outside your peripheral or outside your lines of business.
Right.
Or lastly, really is your team doesn't want to work with them, right?
No.
Maybe they're a negative Nelly. They don't want to hang out with them. They don't want to do projects on work for them just because, oh man, these people, they're just such a drag. I don't even want to work on a project.
Or like you said earlier, you just don't align with them, right? So you
Right,
don't
right.
you don't even want to have them in your wheelhouse, right?
Exactly, exactly. So basically, identifying them are really the same tools that you would use to identify your good customers as well, right? You're going to take a look at the revenue, right? And then you're also going to take a look at, all your financial reports and stuff like that, so you can see how much business, how much money am I really getting out of this customer. You also might want to take a look at your payroll and your timesheets to see how much time you're spending or your team is spending with them.
Oh, exactly. You might be in the red at that point.
Well, exactly. That's basically, as I was mentioned about at GE Capital and Xerox, um, they were completely, I mean, they were losing, $10,000 a month.
Not good.
Yeah,
That's
not
not
good.
what we're here for.
Right. You also can get feedback from your team. Listen to your team. Your team's going to tell you, oh, this customer wants this. 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 Like, wow, that's very demanding.
There's also coaching around that because some of the team may feel like a sense of accomplishment if they could just get the customer to be happy or actually, want to buy the services or whatever. And they beat it like a dead horse because they're just like trying so hard and exhausting all of their energy on that one client. And as a manager or a coach, productivity coach, you have to recognize when your team is spending too much time with the customer and you have to have a meeting of the minds and say, okay, this is not the customer you're going to be exhausting all of your hours and effort on because they are, like you said, not bringing in the revenue. They're at the bottom of the tier structure. And so sometimes there needs to be management involved and coaching around that, with regards to your team and who they're spending their efforts on, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, it's these type of customers just really drag you, your team, and your business down. And they're
Right.
very taxing, very demanding, and very negative most of the time, right?
Yes.
So how do we fix these? How do we fix a bad customer, perhaps turn them into a good customer or maybe no customer, right? The
Well, if
first
you
one
are,
you said already, you fire them.
yeah, exactly. Or if you feel that they're just looking for a discount and by complaining they think you'll lower your pricing, then maybe you just have to prove them wrong and show them or educate them. No, this product works just fine. And maybe you have to spend another 10 minutes or 20 minutes with them and show them that what they're saying is really not accurate or valid.
You
So
know, discounts are an interesting animal. I've actually studied and researched discounts and the cause and effect, so on and so forth. And honestly, discounts devalue your service, right? Because let's say you set your service and you say, I'm charging, I'm worth $100 an hour. And then you give a discount of 25%. So now you're worth $75 an hour. But it really devalues you, your time and your efforts and everything that you put into helping them.
yes,
It's also demotivating, right?
I know. And a lot of times they'll raise the price and that helps get rid of the client.
Well, so
Because-
I here's a funny story, right? I've done that with certain clients. I've actually had a set price. So I'm like, oh, we need to raise the price. And then there's times that I've worked on a project and I didn't want the project, but I needed to still bid on it or whatever case may be. So I bid super, super, super high, like 3 times what everyone else did.
yeah.
And of course I got it. I'm like, damn it. But
Oh, you're
hey,
like, darn it. Yeah,
monetarily wise, it's worth it now. So,
right.
right. The other thing is set boundaries on them, right? So, like, I had not necessarily customers, but a position I had, previously. My cell phone would start going off at 6 in the morning constantly until midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning,
Wow.
7 days a week. And I had to set boundaries.
Really?
And,
So
I
no.
had other people that were working for me too that were managers. I'm like, you guys need to start taking these calls. I'm turning my phone off and it's going to stay off.
Yeah.
It's going to be on from, 8 in the morning till 6 at night. Other than
Yes.
that, I have night managers and I have this, that. It's your job. This is what I hired you to do. So you do it.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. I
So you
know.
got to sometimes set those boundaries and say, here's the box, here's the space you're working in. Don't step outside. And
Or yeah, just establish like I have 30 minutes for you today and just establish it from the get-go. Or, what I do sometimes when it's getting prolonged, they're not respecting my time that was allotted. I'll say, "Oh my
yeah,
gosh, I have to hop into another appointment. I'm so sorry."
yeah,
So,
yeah. I don't like to lie like that and stuff like that, but sometimes you don't have a choice, right?
right.
Yeah,
Well,
like
if you have more business to tend to, it's not necessarily a lie. It just
well,
makes
you're
an
right.
appointment with yourself, so to
Good
speak.
recovery. I like that, Lisa. I got other customers I need to deal with too. As you said earlier, you're not my only
I
customer.
know. Right, right. So when
So,
do you know how to let them go? When do you know how to say, I'm sorry, but I can't provide you any services?
well, if you've done everything that we mentioned above, right? If you've done a P&L on them, if you looked at the financials, if you talk to your team and it just adds up, that this is a bad customer, you should let them go. Now,
Yeah,
a lot of people don't do that because they don't want to lose their revenue. But honestly, how much the thing you need to figure out is you run a P&L, you're going to see how much you're spending to get that revenue. And if you're
right.
spending $10,000 a month and you're only getting 5,000, you know, is it worth it?
Yeah.
No,
And
it's not.
sometimes, if you ever wanted to consult with Barry or myself on your your clients and how to rank them, we could do an analyzation of your P&Ls and look at the different client sheets and track that data for you and then have a consultation with you around it to help you weed out
Yes.
those bad customers and really spend time nurturing the good ones and how to build more good ones. So I feel like it's always best to have a third neutral set of eyes on your books because you're so emotionally and professionally involved in your own, company that, you come at it from a different angle. So hire us. We're here to help you grow your business.
I like it. You said, how can they figure it out? Hire us. We'll come in and we'll help you and we'll show you.
Yes. And it's such a valuable piece. They always say invest in yourself, to be a better self, a better, partner, person, whatever. Invest in your business to have a better business, to elevate your
Yes,
business, get to the next.
exactly. Exactly.
So anyway,
And
that's our little infomercial, little plug.
yeah, there you go. Well, listen, before we go too, I would love to hear some stories from our listeners of their bad customer experiences, right?
Right. Let's put a Facebook post today asking people to comment.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. I'll put one up and please tell us your horror story, your client horror stories and
How you
and
dealt with it? Did you fire
yeah,
them? Did you raise the prices? How did it turn out? Sometimes you could, turn a bad customer into a good one.
I
So we love
have,
to hear those success stories.
I have turned a bad customer. Well, Xerox was really one of them, right? And not only was it just financial, and so when I stepped in, right, GE was doing the help desk, the technical help desk for Xerox,
Yeah.
and when I sat down with them and negotiated $22,000 a month instead of $5,000 a month, I also got additional business out of that because then they respected the fact that we're taking time to work with them and understand the dynamics and what we're providing. And also, here's some other additional things that we can provide at additional costs as well. But nonetheless, at one point, we were making about $70,000 a month.
Wow.
So,
That's pretty good. That's awesome.
right. All
Well,
right.
hopefully everyone, yeah, you got some takeaways from this. It was kind of a fun topic, but definitely one worth thinking about.
Always, definitely, you should be thinking about this on a daily basis.
Yes.
All right, guys. Well, thanks a lot. We appreciate it. We mentioned at the beginning of this, all right, you can find us at investquire.com and also on our Facebook group at The Biz Show. Lisa
Yes.
and I would love to talk with you, hear from you, and see how we can help.
That's right. Please subscribe to our podcast.
Oh, yes. Don't forget to do that. We need your help on that.
Thank you all. Hope you have a great weekend.
Yes. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye.